Hi, I'm Shane Satterfield for GameTrailers.com, and we have the distinct privilege of sitting down with Tomonobu Itagaki from Team Ninja from Tecmo. First of all, thank you for coming and sitting and talking with us.
Thank you.
So your new game is Dead or Alive Extreme 2. Talk a little bit about the differences between the new game versus the older game.
Of course, DOAX1 was made for Xbox One, and this is for 360, so visually speaking, there's a big difference.
How have the features changed in the new game versus the old game?
So last time main activity was the beach volleyball. This time we've added a jet ski and other poolside activities and also beachside activities.
Now, typically, a lot of your games are made sort of for the hardcore gamer, like Ninja Gaiden. It takes a lot of skill to get through the game, and Dead or Alive 4 is sort of a hardcore fighting game. The first Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball was very simple gameplay-wise. Are you going to stick with that idea for the sequel?
So as you said, yes, DO4, Ninja Gaiden, they're very difficult game to play. So I am thinking about making DOX2 a little easier to play. But having said that, DOX1, the original one, I didn't think that it was an easy game to play. In fact, it was meant for hardcore gamer.
Well, it seemed to me, the first Dead or Extreme Alive Beach Volleyball, the gameplay itself, the volleyball, the little mini games that you played were very simple, and sort of the collection aspect and getting all the gifts that you can give to the girls was the more difficult part. So I guess I was speaking more implicitly about the actual gameplay and the mini games that you play. Will they be a little more complex this time around, or will they be sort of simple like they were in the last game?
You're right.
Well, I'm impressed with you. You know so much about the game. I'm very happy that you're so familiar. I'm not going to make you disappointed. That I can promise.
I think a big part of the last Extreme Beach Volleyball was the collection aspect, getting all the gifts to give to the girls. Are you going to have as many items in the game this time, or are you going to have even more?
Yes.
So the simple answer is yes. There's going to be more items to collect, maybe 3 times more than the last version. But another thing is that once you collect everything, you will be well rewarded.
Any hints on what the reward might be that's supposed to be 3 times greater than the last one?
Before, it was hard for you to get your partners to say yes to even accepting the gift, but they're a lot more accommodating this time.
Back in the last generation, you said that you chose to develop for the Xbox because it was the most powerful platform available at the time. Now, you've continued developing for the 360. Do you still believe that's the case, that the 360 is the more powerful console of that in the PlayStation 3? And if so, is that why you chose 360 for your games?
So of course, right now, as it stands, 360 is the most powerful system because PS3 isn't out yet. But when it does come out, I'm sure it's going to be a good system. But the difference is not as great as going from the previous generation to the current generation. So generally speaking, amongst the development community, we say that if the new machine is 4 times more powerful, any old developer can show the difference. But when the difference is only maybe a double, only a few talented developers can show off the difference. Going from PS1 to PS2, that was a big leap forward. It was more than 4 times. It was tenfold. So then anyone could show the big difference, and people were surprised and impressed by it. Going from 360 to PS3 is not as great of a leap.
Do you see yourself making games for the PlayStation 3?
Yes, I'm definitely seeking for various opportunities to do something with the system. And now that the PS3 system is almost ready, and I'm able to analyze the machine.
Have you had a chance to mess around with the PlayStation 3 yet and see what it's capable of?
No comment にしとこうかな。
I'd rather not answer that.
Okay. What about Nintendo's Wii? It has the crazy new controller, the motion controller. Is that something that you see yourself wanting to work on in the future?
もちろん。
Yeah, of course, I would love to work on Wii, but I have many games I have to make, and I tend to focus on one project at a time. So right now, I'm working with and advising one of my coworkers who is working on Wii. That's what I'm doing now.
How do you feel about that system technically, looking at its graphical capabilities? I know you guys produce some of the best graphics in the entire industry. How do you feel looking at the graphical capabilities of that system? Do you think it's going to hold it back at all?
For that console concept, it's enough graphics.
Oh wow, surprised by that. Coming from you.
今アメリカにさ。
So what I'm saying is, for Nintendo's concept, the graphics capability, the quality is good enough. For instance, if you're in a war fighting against tanks, you would need a chopper or a helicopter. But if your opponents aren't in their tanks, then you wouldn't need helicopter. So it's basically, finding the right strategy for right concept.
Now, with the new generation of consoles, specifically the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, you have all this extra processing power. What do you foresee using that processing power for in your games in the future?
So speaking of processing power, it's never enough. If we're given more power, we would come up with ways to use them up. So more the merrier.
My question was really about, are you going to use that for AI to make the enemies more intelligent? Or are you just going to dump it all into making the graphics look better? How do you plan on using that extra power you have at your disposal?
Yeah, so
I would use the additional power to improve the interactivity, the interaction of the game, such as AI.
I'd like to get your impressions on the new PlayStation 3 controller that was revealed at the press conference. How do you feel about the concept sort of being so close to Nintendo's idea?
Sony and Microsoft, they have very similar strategy, but Nintendo have their own thing going. And as far as the controller goes, Nintendo has clear strategy based on their unique controller, but I don't feel that from Sony's controller.
Would you care to share with us any of the concepts and ideas that you're working on for the next Ninja Gaiden?
So yeah, I'm thinking of many different ideas, and I choose not to share any of them right now because I don't want to take away the joy of finding out what they are. One thing, if I can say, the interactivity of the game will be improved greatly, so the action will be a lot more interactive.
Now, you said many times that you have a distinct dislike for the Tekken series. Why do you dislike Tekken so much?
Many things happened in the old days. We all have people you don't get along with, right?
You have lots of fans out there, not only in Japan, but in the United States. Is there anything that you'd like to say to them now that you have this chance to talk to them specifically, to keep them interested in your games that are coming out in the future?
Well, I believe that the most important thing is not to disappoint my fans and people who are familiar with my 360 game. I don't want them to be disappointed. So the key is to look to the future and grow together.
Now, looking at your game, it looks stunning. Is this in-game graphics, or is this pre-rendered CG?
No, real time.
Real time?
Yeah.
That's real-time graphics. It looks amazing. Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to sit down with us.
Thanks. Thank you.